Hi, and welcome back to Reflect Forward. I'm your host, Carrie Siggins, and I hope that you are having a great day today. Today, I want to talk about why leaders fail. Because we all know leading is hard. And in the volatile world today, the pressure to perform and execute has never been higher. I know I felt that way certainly in 2020. It carried over into 2021. I believe that those years made me a stronger leader, but I was always thinking about failure and what would happen. Am I on the brink? Because there was so much uncertainty being thrown my way. Certainly, imposter syndrome set in. I know it has for many other leaders, causing us to wonder, do I really have what it takes to lead? For me, leadership is a little bit science and a little bit art and a lot of hard work. And the list of attributes that leaders must have to be successful is long, but it's still uniquely individual. You can't just say, if you do these 5 things, you're going to be a successful leader. It all comes down to who we are and how that authenticity shows up to the rest of the world. Vision, communication style, empathy, self awareness, and listening blended with your personality style, your experiences, your ego, those are what's going to determine if you're successful or not. And that's why the combination of these things makes each leader's journey an individual one. And for every successful leader, dozens have failed. So, what's going on? So, there are numerous studies into why leaders fail, and the reasons are complex. And as you sift through the multitude of failures, it's difficult to understand like what's really going on here. And being an executive for 15 years now, my 15-year anniversary was on January 2nd of 2022. I have figured out how to thankfully avoid some catastrophic failure, but I've also witnessed quite a bit of it. I've hired executives who I believed would succeed, helping me take the company to the next level. And then I've watched them struggle and deny, blame, and then flame out. They didn't have what it takes to be successful at Stone Age. And so over the years, I've come up with my own conclusions about why leaders fail and what we can do about it. So I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons why I think leaders fail. So the first one is they lack self-leadership qualities. And I know a little bit about this. When I graduated from college, I was lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was rudderless. I made poor decisions and I was looking for direction. And one very hard day, after hitting rock bottom, I called a friend in tears, venting about my situation and the mess I was making of my life. And after my emotional outburst, he said, "You're right. Your life is a mess. What are you going to do about it?" And I said, "I don't have a clue. I'm clearly incapable of making good decisions. Just tell me what you think I should do and I will do it." "No," he responded, "it is not up to me to figure it out for you. That's your responsibility. What are you going to do about it?" And in that moment, I realized I was looking for someone else to solve my problems for me. I was willing to give up my own power, my self power, to let someone else lead me. And I vowed from that day forward, I would always be an exceptional self leader. So I think a primary reason that leaders fail is that they are poor self-leaders. They lack the self-awareness, the motivation, the empathy, the accountability to succeed at the executive level. They can also overwork themselves and not take the time to care for themselves properly. And then you show up grumpy, lackluster, and uninspired. Ugh. Self leadership is about owning everything you do, every decision you make, every word that comes out of your mouth, and the quality of the relationships that you have. It's about understanding your strengths and weaknesses and using them to propel yourself, your team, and the company forward. The second reason why I think leaders fail is that confidence turns into arrogance. When leaders are hired or promoted, they often want to prove themselves, and the pressure is on to produce real results. Unfortunately, many respond to this pressure by making unilateral decisions, failing to ask questions, and underestimating their impact on the organization, especially when they come in heavy handed, egotistical, arrogant, overconfident. They forget that they are there to serve others. These leaders believe that they know it all and they stop listening. They ignore what people say, or worse, criticize them when they are sharing other points of view. They think that they are better than the people who are creating the value, the employees. By simply listening Asking questions and giving credit to your team, leaders will gain the respect and trust and credibility. And that's how you don't let confidence, which you need to be a good leader, turn into arrogance. The third reason why leaders fail, they cannot build a team. One of the most essential tasks a leader must do is build a strong team. Without a high performing team, a leader and the company will struggle, hands down. I've seen this. I've had weak teams before, and I have wanted to pull my hair out. And then I realized it's my responsibility to build a strong team. It's my responsibility to have the hard conversations when I really don't want to tell somebody, this is not working. You're not cutting it. I have to build a strong team with the right people in the right seats on the bus. You cannot build a strong company if you do not have a strong team. You cannot be a successful leader if you do not have a strong team. To build a strong team, a leader must first understand the culture. I have hired a few executives who have given lip service to the company's culture but didn't buy into it, and they instantly lost credibility with their teams. A leader must also provide a clear vision and strategy and then create goals that align every single teammate to the execution of that plan. People want to understand how they fit into the company. They want to feel like they belong. And the only way you can do that is by providing a clear vision, strategy, goals that all align with what you're trying to do as a leader. Then you have to hire the right people and fire the right people. And this is hard. You cannot have toxic underperformers on your team, do not fit the culture, who are not helping you move forward with the mission. You have to keep people on track, hold them accountable. You have to develop them, help them see how they can better themselves. You need to understand them, set the ground rules for how you're going to operate as a team by creating team operating principles. Most leaders say that they do not have time for these activities, but in my opinion, these efforts are the most important part of a leader's job. The fourth reason why leaders fail is they disregard the details. Leaders are supposed to work on the business, not in the business, right? We always hear that. While this is somewhat true, the key to executing strategy is running a successful business. And if a leader stops caring about the details, things can fall apart. I learned this lesson the hard way when I stopped asking detailed questions during one of our most important product development efforts. 1 month before launch, I learned that we had skipped a crucial step in the process and the product wasn't ready. We halted the launch and had to back up to complete the missing steps, which delayed the product introduction by 6 months and lost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. Paying attention to the details shows that you care about doing things right. It will drive strategic decisions and it will keep initiatives on track. Keeping an eye on the details reduces the chance that you will make mistakes that will hurt your credibility. And the fifth reason why leaders fail, they fail to communicate well. You cannot over communicate. In fact, I was once told that CEOs should really be called the CRO, Chief Repeating Officer, because you need to say things over and over again. It's so true. People want to hear from their leaders, even if the truth is hard to hear. Leaders fail when they aren't transparent and when they don't share the why behind their decisions. Leaders who fail to articulate the vision and set the direction and repeatedly share the message over and over again will lose their followership. So those are the 5 reasons why I think that leaders fail. There's a multitude of others, but these are the things that I've seen in my experience. I've done some of them. I've witnessed executives do some of them. And if you really work on doing the opposite of these things, you will be on the path to being a more successful leader. Okay, so question of the week comes from somebody who emailed me, and he asked me, how can leaders and aspiring leaders take their leadership skills to the next level? And my response was, hire a coach. Just like professional athletes utilize the power of a coach, all leaders should too. I've worked with several life and business coaches throughout my career, and I still use an executive coach today, and it's fantastic. It is so incredibly helpful. The best thing about working with a coach is that they will hold you accountable. They will push you to grow your business. They will listen to you when you need to vent, and they'll help you create action plans that propel you to the next level. They will give you new ideas. They will help you see things from a different perspective. If you were a professional athlete, you would always have a coach. So if you want to be a great leader, hire a coach. All right, that is my episode for today. I hope that was full of insightful information on how to become a better leader. And I look forward to hosting you on next week's episode of Reflect Forward. And if you like this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, write a review. I always appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.